Configuring an email service for IntelliMail using the Site Guest User method. In order to send reports and dashboards via IntelliMail, an email service needs to be configured in Salesforce. This can be done using a compliance BCC address, guest site user, or chatter user. In this example, we'll be setting up an email service using a site guest user. To do this, we first need to go to the Setup menu and then navigate to the Develop heading and select Email Services. We can now configure an email service by clicking on the New Email Service button. Please note that in order to configure the email service correctly, the information needs to be completed exactly as I do it here. The first step is to enter the name, IntelliMail, and in the Apex class box we'll select the IntelliMail option. Accept attachments should be set to binary attachments only. The next three fields can be left blank and we'll be sure to tick the active checkbox to true. Now we will leave all the discard message pick lists as they are, and optionally we can choose to enable error routing by ticking the checkbox here and entering the email address to send error messages to. Enabling error routing sends an email to your administrator if any errors occur with your IntelliMail service. If you would like to use this option, then make sure that you enter the email address of a system administrator. We can now click the Save and New Email Address button to continue with the email service. On this page, the information should be pre-populated for you with an email address, active checkbox set to true, and context user. In the Accept Email From field, please be sure to delete any email addresses. We can now click Save. Once saved, a unique Salesforce email address will appear like this. Let's copy this address so that we can use it in the next step. To copy the address, I'm selecting it with my mouse and then right-clicking and choosing the Copy option. Now that we have configured the start of the email service, we need to continue on to create our guest site user. To do this, we now need to go to the Setup panel and select Develop and then Sites. If you do not yet have a salesforce.com domain, you'll need to create one now. A salesforce.com domain is what gets used for any websites you create on the salesforce.com platform. We suggest using your company name for your domain. Once you've selected a name for your domain, you will need to enter it into a text area that appears here and check the availability before agreeing to the terms and conditions and clicking the Register Domain button. Once you have a salesforce.com domain registered, you are able to create sites. Let's create a site using the New button in the Sites area. Now, let's complete the details as follows. In the site label, we can enter IntelliMail and copy that down to the site name. In the site description, let's type Site used for IntelliMail delivery. Now we can select a user for the site contact or keep yourself there, and in the default web address, let's enter IntelliMail into the text area. The active site homepage can be set to the In Maintenance page. And the remaining fields can be left as they are. Now we can click the Save button to save our site. Now that we have created the site, we need to go to the Public Access Settings by clicking on the Public Access Settings button at the top of the page. From here, we need to click on the View Users button. Next to the IntelliMail Site Guest User, we need to click the Edit link. Now, we need to click into the email address field, delete the existing email, and paste in the unique email address we copied in the last step. We can then save the record. Your site guest user is now configured. In order to schedule IntelliMail reports and dashboards to be sent using the site guest user method, The site guest user must be given access to report and dashboard folders. This can be achieved by creating a public group and then granting report access to this group. To create a public group, we need to go to the Setup panel and then click on the Manage Users section and select Public Groups. From here, we can click on the New button to create a new group. Now we can give our group a name. Let's call this group IntelliMail. And then we can search for users and select and add our IntelliMail site guest user to the group, and then click the Save button. Now that we have created our group, we are able to give the group access to report folders. To do this, we need to go to the Reports tab, and then by hovering over the report folders that we want to grant access to and clicking on the pin icon, we can use the Share option to share the report folder with either users, roles and subordinates, or public groups. Let's choose to share this report folder with our public groups. From here, we can select the group that we would like to share the reports with. Let's select our IntelliMail group. Now that we've shared the folder with the group, we can click the Done button and then close out of the sharing options. Now that you have configured your email service, you can continue on to using the Domain Manager.